Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads. We continue with Pinocchio. Chapter 9, Pinocchio Mourns the Fairy. With the weight of the dog collar off his neck, Pinocchio felt so light he practically flew. Across fields and meadows, beyond the tree where he had been hung, he ran until he got to the road that would take him to the fairy's house. When he reached the spot where the house used to be, however, there was nothing there. In fact, there was only a marble slab on which was carved, "Here lies the lovely fairy who died of grief when abandoned by Pinocchio." Whoa. Pinocchio gasped and burst into tears. He could not believe that his beloved fairy was dead. "Oh, fairy," he said to the air, because there was no one there to hear him. "You are not really dead, are you? Please come back. I am so lonely. Don't you feel sorry for me? You are dead and my father is lost. Who will take care of me?" Pinocchio was so upset that he tried to tear his hair off, but it was painted on his wooden head, so he wouldn't even grab it. He was attempting to flake some of the paint off instead when a large pigeon flew overhead. "Excuse me," the pigeon said. "I do not mean to interrupt you, but do you know any chance where I can find a boy named Pinocchio?" Pinocchio leapt up. "Why, I am Pinocchio!" he cried. "So you know Geppetto?" "Do I know him? He's my father. Is he still alive? Will you take me to him?" "He is on the beach," the pigeon replied. "He thinks you are across the sea. He's building a boat to cross the ocean and find you." "Oh!" Pinocchio cried. "I must get to him at once. But how shall I get there? If only I had your wings." "Are you heavy?" the pigeon asked. "Why, I'm light as a feather," Pinocchio replied. "What's one more of those?" the pigeon said. "Climb aboard, I will take you." Within a few seconds, the pigeon and his passenger were in the cool and misty clouds. They flew, and by the next day they had reached the shore. "Thank you," Pinocchio exclaimed. "Good luck," the pigeon replied and flew away. Turning towards the ocean, Pinocchio quickly realized there was something wrong. Crowds of people stood at the edge of the shore, wailing as they looked out over the water. Running over to join them, Pinocchio asked an old woman what was happening. "A poor old father lost his only son some time ago, and today he finished the tiny boat he was building to go find him. We're all very excited for him, and he set out to sea a few minutes ago, but the water is very rough, and we were afraid he will drown." Pinocchio squinted and looked out at the sea. Finally, he spotted the tiny boat, which was then so far out on the horizon that it was only a speck. "Father!" he cried, waving energetically, but of course Pinocchio was too far away to hear or see him. Rushing into a high rock, Pinocchio even tried to wave his nose, like a long skinny flag, to signal guide Geppetto to shore. Suddenly, however, Geppetto did see Pinocchio. The old man stood up and waved. "I am coming back in," he seemed to be saying with his hand gestures. And he might have done that had not a huge wave suddenly come in and overtaken the boat. The sea seemed to swallow Geppetto in one big gulp. "Poor old man," the crowd sighed. A few people muttered prayers. Then, thinking this excitement over, most of them went home. But then a desperate cry was heard. The people turned around and watched as that little puppet Pinocchio dove bravely into the ocean. "I'll save you, father," he uttered the first time he came for air. "Poor puppet," the crowd sighed again. A few people muttered some prayers. Then, thinking the excitement was really over this time, most of them returned again home. And that's the end of that chapter. See you next time.